So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about the Honda Accord, just because we keep getting questions regarding how similar it is to the TSX. So overseas, the Honda Accord and the Acura TSX are like identical. They have the same audio systems. They can have the premium or the ELS. In the US, they can only have the premium, and they are a little different from your TSX. So I just wanted to cover the differences real quick. Your passenger side, your fuse box right here. Right above that is your amplifier if you're looking for it. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Whether or not your Honda Accord has navigation is not what we're looking at today. We're looking at whether you have the premium sound system or the bass. If you have the bass, there is no amplifier in your Honda Accord. You can integrate straight into the radio. If you have the premium sound system, it means you have the factory subwoofer, so there'll be a subwoofer on the rear deck, and you have the factory amplifier where I showed you right behind the glove box, sort of in your passenger side. So I just wanted to talk to you real quick about the amplifier and something that's very important that a lot of people don't know about. So I'm going to go over the connectors real quick. On this side, you have the input, which is a 24 pin. So you have all of your speaker inputs along with shields. Something else that's included in the Honda Accord that the TSX doesn't have is these active noise cancellation inputs. So you have two active noise cancellation mics, one in the front, one in the rear on your EXL. So if you have an EX, you won't have the amplifier, it's only on the EXL. This is what's going to give you trouble if you're going to do aftermarket subwoofers on the factory radio. You want to disable ANC, you want to disconnect your microphones. The other big difference is that the input side of your amplifier doesn't have tweeter outputs or front speaker outputs. So here you see it says subwoofer negative, subwoofer positive. You have rear right speaker negative, rear right speaker positive, rear left speaker, rear right speaker. These say amp. These are mislabeled. They should say amp as well. And what that means is they're going to the speaker crossover network control unit. This is what they look like. These little black boxes that sit behind the dash that speaker signal comes into and speaker signal comes out of for your tweeter and your door speaker. Where these are located, this one, if you remove the driver's dashboard lower cover, you can see it. It's on a bracket, has one connector. And then this one, if you remove the center console or center console pocket, then you can get to it and it has one connector as well. And they're just mounted on these brackets that are slid in place, so you can just slide it off the bracket and disconnect it, or just disconnect it and leave it there. It's up to you. That's how Honda identifies it. And then it has an 8-pin connector. These are the pins. One's over here. I believe this is 4, but they're not hooked up, so you don't use them. And here's the breakout for the driver's door. So you have the signal coming from the amp, which is on green on purple. They're going to be thicker wires. Then you have the signal going to the tweeter, which is red and green. It's smaller. Then you have the signal going to your door speaker, which is light green and pink. Then on your passenger side, you have white and pink, which are the inputs, and then brown and white go to your tweeter, gray and red go to your speaker. The reason why this is important is because when you go to install another set of aftermarket speakers or another amplifier, this is going to limit your output to those speakers and from the amplifier. So you can bypass this by either creating a harness, cutting it, or unpinning it, whatever you decide to do, or running new wires, a possibility as well. But I wanted to give you this information because it does play an important role if you want to install aftermarket speakers, and it is separate from the TSX. The TSX doesn't have this. It's a active system where the tweeter and the woofer are powered independently. Here, power comes out of the amp to this crossover, from this crossover to your tweeters and your speakers. It is nice because you can then install your crossovers behind the dash like they did, but if you don't want to use crossovers, it can be a little annoying. And when these things die, and they do die, they're just so much over time, the speaker output going to it will just kill it, and then you'll have no sound in your front speakers, but your rear speakers will work. So you want to check for that if that's what's happening to you. Alright guys, there's a ton of other information on the Honda Accord that we did not cover in this video. If you want a video on your Honda Accord audio system, let me know down in the comments. We mostly work on Acuras, but the Honda Accord, the Hondas with the higher trim level, the EXLs, have the factory amplified system, and they're usually extremely similar to the Acura that they're related to.